Today I'm putting together my very first Ryzen 3000 PC. It's not a test bed, it's not some system that's going to be used for benchmarking, it's a full-fledged gaming desktop PC. Technically it could be a workstation PC too because these Ryzen 3000 chips are just so darn flexible. This is going to be a straightforward build video with not a whole lot of dialogue, mainly because there's a lot of ambient noise going on right now. We're doing construction currently on our living room. There's like 4 guys on our roof just ripping things up, just demolishing the hell out of our house. So sorry if there's any kind of like noise in the background that you can hear, banging and clanging and stuff like that. But let's get on with the parts here. You can find links to all this stuff in the description below.
So I just want to make sure we're on the same page with the product messaging since you'll be taking over while Kyle's out of town on another vacation.
No problem. I make it good for you, Joshy Poo.
Right. So at first glance, the Ion Plus seems like your typical power supply, but in fact,
I know. It has a 0 RPM fan. I thought Kyle was the only one with 0 fan.
technically that means it runs quiet, but you're not wrong though.
Ultra flex cable for easy routing. That's no good. Cables need to be stiff like a dictator regime.
Please do not say that in the video.
Japanese capacitor? How much they charge you? I get you Chinese capacitor half price.
That would definitely cheapen the product.
Exactly. Glad we on the same page now. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Dictator regime.
Fractal Design delivers with the Ion Plus power supply. Click on the link below to learn more.
Starting with the Ryzen 7 3700X. 8-core, 16-thread CPU, 65-watt TDP. It's a hell of a bargain for the price, and it directly competes and even outperforms in some cases the Core i7 9700K, its direct competitor. It's cheaper than that chip as well. It comes included with an AMD Wraith Prism RGB cooler, which we're not going to be using today, but it is a nice stock cooler. It's just an all-around fantastic CPU, and you should all be jealous. We also have an Asus ROG Crosshair 8 Formula motherboard. I actually like this board. It's X570, of course. I like it because it's the first, I think the only ATX form factor X570 board that I have. All the manufacturers have been sending us their crazy $500 flagship boards, which are all super nice and very well engineered, but they're also mostly eATX, and I wanted to go with something a little bit more space conscious today. And apart from that, it's just a fully loaded board with a ton of features going on, so we'll be able to take a closer look at that once it's out of the box. Sorry the retail box for our memory today was super damaged in shipping, but here we have 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance Pro RGB, DDR4, 3400 speed. Ideally, 3600 is kind of the sweet spot for Ryzen 3000, as you do get some nice gains there, but maybe we can overclock this to 3600. I think we can actually, especially with the huge memory improvements in terms of compatibility and support that we're seeing with X570. I'm pretty confident we can make that happen. Cooling our CPU is the Corsair H100i RGB Platinum SE, 240mm liquid AIO. It's got full RGB, it's got those very nice LL120 RGB series fans on them, and if you couldn't tell, we are going for a white themed PC today. Very exciting, haven't done one of these in a while. Additionally, we have more LL120 RGB fans. These are also the white editions, of course. And even our GPU is white. This is the Gigabyte RTX 2070 Gaming OC White Edition. Booyah! You know, technically I would suggest people go with an RTX 2060 Super instead because you get very comparable performance to the 2070 for less money. However, there are no white 2060 Supers currently available, so this being a more aesthetically driven build, I'm going with this. I don't care. Moving down here, we have our boot drive, which is a 500 gig Gigabyte Aorus PCIe Gen 4 NVMe SSD. This thing gets ridiculous reads and writes, upwards of around 5,000 megabytes a second, and it is using a Phison controller like pretty much all of the PCIe Gen 4 NVMe SSDs are right now. Super awesome drive that we get to take advantage of on the X570 platform. We're gonna be using the Cooler Master V850, 80 plus certified fully modular unit, because it was right next to me at the time of filming. And finally, we have a brand new case from NZXT, the H510 Elite. This was the talk of the town at CES earlier this year. It's finally here, although the review embargo is still in effect. So I'm actually not going to be talking at all about the build experience in this case. We're simply just going to be building inside of it and showing it off as a finished product, but very excited to build in that as well. Again, links to all this stuff can be found in the description below. On that note, I'm going to start building this PC to the lovely sounds of someone drilling holes into my house. Oh, okay, my wife's calling me too. All right, I'm going to build the PC now. We have a boot. We have a boot. This is one sexy case when it's all put together, isn't it? Well, the case already comes put together, but you know what I mean. The fans at the front look a little dwarfed. The L series white editions only come in 120. They don't do 140, and this case actually comes included with two 140 millimeter AR RGB 2 fans, I believe. You know, if NZXT had white AR RGB fans, I would have used those, but you know, this matches our theme. I feel like for build videos, I usually don't put the tempered glass side panel on. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 B-roll shots with it on, just because the reflections are so terrible usually that it's just bad for film. But here it is slapped on, all put together so you guys have an idea of what the finished product looks like. And on that note, I'm gonna take it off. So much better, I can see again. All right, so just a quick little overview here of the build. Everything went very smoothly. You can see I added some white sleeved extensions at the last minute just to tie everything together. They look pretty nice. They're fairly cheap though. I wish I had some better quality ones on hand. This freaking motherboard, man, this Crosshair 8 formula is so reflective. They went from like a reflective type surface that was like pretty reflective to just a straight mirror. Like between this and an RTX Supercard, I'm getting ready to sell all the mirrors in my house. I will say that this reflective material on these Asus boards is way less prone to scratching than the previous material. Like even with a microfiber cloth, I would just scratch the hell out of it within the first 5 seconds of unboxing it for the first time. This is much more resistant to scratching, and that's a huge plus in my book. The H100i RGB Platinum just looks so good in white, especially when it's paired with other white components. It just looks so good. It's really doing it for me. The GPU's fitting in well here too. Now I don't know how much is picking up on the mic right now, but the fans are pretty darn loud. These are 22 or 2300 max RPM fans, but it seems like they're, well actually we can just check here. It looks like we've got one fan at about 1700 RPM, another at 1600 RPM. I don't know, that doesn't seem too extreme. Let's take a closer look at some more details. Okay, look, it's like this fan right here. 3200 RPM for no apparent reason. And if you go back to the Q fan control, click. All right, silent profile. I've pretty much assigned every single connected fan to a silent profile. I even switched between DC mode, auto, and PWM, nothing. Updated the BIOS, nothing. It's still loud AF. I feel like this has happened to me maybe once or twice before, and I somehow figured it out, but it was so long ago, I can't remember exactly what the solution was. I have had fans all the time. It's very common for fans to ramp up to max RPM right when you boot the system, but then after a couple seconds or so, they'll ramp back down to normal speeds. This is just continuous, just going and going and going. I don't currently have a stable OS loaded onto the SSD. I'm kind of curious if that would fix it if we just booted into Windows. I also checked temperatures. Temperatures are looking normal. I was thinking maybe the cooler's not mounted properly or something like that and ramping up to compensate, but here we've got 34C. Really nice and chilly on the 3700X, so that's not it either. There's probably some really simple, obvious answer that I'm just completely overlooking. You guys are smarter than me. You guys let me know in the comments. So yeah, in the end, very happy with the looks. It's beautiful, it's white, and it's just loud. I don't know why it's so loud, but that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to name this build. I'm just calling it the White Ryzen build because I'm really bad at names. I'd probably name it something terrible like Dominic, or I don't know. Let me your best name idea down below, or your worst name idea. That could be fun too. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to toss a like on it before you go, and get subscribed for more tech stuff coming at you really soon. Also, don't forget, 3900X build on the way. It is going to be fire? Is that still a relevant term these days? I don't care. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see y'all in the next video.